Hi, my lovelies. It's me, author Alexandrian Fonte, coming to you with a new review. Let me push this back for a second. I keep hitting it with my knees. But anyway, so today is IR romance. And so because we didn't have any actual we didn't have any more submission authors, remember. We are continuing on with the books that Jen and I have downloaded from Amazon. So, tonight's author is USA Today best-selling authors KOKO Brown and Taige Crenshaw. I believe that's how it's pronounced because AIGE, if you put a P in front of it, it would be Page. So, and there's a T in front of it, so I'm just going to go with Taige. I think it's Taige Crenshaw. And it's called Hexes and O's. And it is a paranormal romance. Hopefully you guys can see that. Oh, I'll try this side better. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, so that is tonight's read. Okay, so let me read you the little blurb for this book. Okay, it says Rosalind Fletcher is a witch, but that's not her only secret. Her one-of-a-kind wedding cakes are infused with a loving spell that produces long-lasting marriages where the men never stray, the women don't nag, and none of the blissful couples end up in divorce court. What happens when a bewitched cake falls into the hands of the wrong person? Like her worst enemy, Ace Benedict, who accidentally eats a sample meant for his clients. Well, all hormones break loose. Surrendering to Ace's lustful appetites proves far easier than finding an antidote for the conflicted low country witch with a sweet tooth for the blonde tight end. Can Rosalind alter the bewitching powers of a 100-year-old spell before things get out of hand? Will she let her conscience guide her to a remedy, or will her heart lock them both in a sham? So now, basically, as you can see, this book follows Rosalind Fletcher and Ace Benedict. Rosalind is a witch and she owns a cake bakery. And basically, like the blurb says, she infuses her cakes with a loving spell. And so Ace Benedict is a retired tight end. He used to be a football player. And so now he's pretty much running his mother's wedding business. And so what he does is he will send the wedding clients her way and then she will wind up baking the cake for them. So in one of the incidents where one of the couples was supposed to show up for their wedding tasting. So what she does is she only allows the couple to go into this wedding room. So basically her ancestors have been doing this for like 100 years. Basically the great grandma Trudy, whose book of spells she has, her husband cheated on her. And so what she did is she concocted a spell and she put it in like a cake and he ate it and he never cheated on her again for the rest of the entire marriage. And so basically then like women in the parish, and because I believe this takes place in like South Carolina, and women in the parish and the community and stuff for like 100 years now have been, buying these cakes because even though like they're not telling anyone, the women know that this is what these cakes are about. So basically they all have their cakes baked there. And so so she's waiting for the couple to come in, and basically she will take them into the loving room, and only the couple can come in there. Like no parents, no bridesmaids, nothing. Only the couple. They come in and they pick their cake and then they taste it. And so basically it cements that bond because it's a spell in the cake. And so, so the couple cancels. And now she's seen Ace all around. He's been sending business her way for years. And he's always annoying. He's like, he's sexy, hot, and cute, but he's pretentious and he's annoying. At least this is what she thinks. And so basically, he has the reputation because he's rich and all of these women throw themselves at him. So he has a reputation of like a playboy, you know, basically a rich playboy. And so she wanted nothing to do with him. And so basically he's antagonized her since like they were pretty much, you know, in grade school. And so, so basically you find out through, okay, so basically he goes into the loving room. Like he tells her, okay, the client, he gets the call, the client's canceled. And so she's like, okay, crap. And so she goes to like, you know, dismantle the room. And so she leaves the cake on the table as she's, you know, clearing all the rest of the stuff. And so he walks into the room and she's like, you're not supposed to be in here. And he's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And he gives her like this little spiel, whatever. And so she's like, you're getting on my nerves. And she walks out of the room to take like some of the other stuff back to its original place. And so while he's in there, he sees the cake and he knows like how delicious her cakes are. So he cuts the cake and then he goes to eat it. And so he eats the cake and he's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And then she comes in, she slaps his hand. She's like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be eating that cake. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to another client. And so basically he's like, it's just cake. Calm down. And they're not even coming. So he goes to eat more. And she like slaps the plate out of his hand, takes the entire cake, puts it in a trash bag, and then basically takes the trash bag out of the trash can and takes it with her. And so he's following her. He's like, oh my God, it is not that serious. And so basically, you know, she's like, yes, it is. Just go, blah, 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 blah. And so, so he pretty much, he's like, no. And then they have this conversation or whatever. And then he winds up like doing some things to her that like, I can't say on the channel, on the counter. And so she automatically thinks that, the spell has like taken him over. And so basically they start to have this relationship that's purely based on, you know, sex. And so she's actually in love with him. She's had a crush on him for like forever, even though he comes off as a dick because he's always bothering her. And so, so basically they start to have this relationship. And so she's not putting any stock into it because she's like, I spelled him. So she makes up these, she goes and finds her grandma Trudy's spell book. And so she makes up the antidote. But every time she gives him the antidote, he's like, ew, this is disgusting. And he'll like spit it out. And so he thinks like she's trying to kill him, which is really funny. And so every time she comes up, she'll call him over and be like, I have a new tasting. I need you to taste this to tell me if you think about it. And like the first time he did, he spit it out. He was like, oh, that's disgusting. He's like, I hate coconut. And she's like, and so basically because the spell didn't take. I mean, the antidote didn't take because he spit it out. And then they go back to the relationship and they're, you know, and she's falling more and more for him. And so she keeps trying to she keeps coming up with these testings. And now it's to the point where like one time he got really sick and he had to like, he was like puking all night. And so now when she's telling him to taste something, he's like, oh, I want to taste it. You know, because he thinks like she's trying to poison him. And so basically, so finally it's like, it gets to the point where she realizes that she's in love with him. And then he continually professes love for her. But she's like, it's not true because of the fact that it's a spell and he's not actually loving me. He's loving the spell or doing what the spell is making him think. And so then, the mom had gone on vacation during this point. So there was no way for her to like, basically get the mom to get in on it. And then she didn't want to either because the mom was like nosy and she's like this and this and this. And so So finally the mom comes back from vacation. And so they have some altercations in the book, like because the fact that he's white and rich and she's black and she's like middle class because she owns a bakery shop. Basically, there are some janky townspeople who don't want to see them together or who are racist. And so she's like, there are a couple of times where he actually like, defends her. And so that makes her like him, like, or, fall in love with him even more. But she's like, I can't because it's pretty much a spell. He doesn't care for me like that. It's the spell. And so finally it gets to the point where he's so enamored with her, but he tells you in the book, like, even though she thinks all of this is going on and it's because of the spell, no, he tells you in the book that he's been in love with her since like the 5th grade or something, when he first met her. And, the only reason why he comes around her is because of the fact that, he is in love with her. He's been in love with her for like years. And so basically she finally has to tell her mom what she did. And her mom is like, that's not how that spell works. Do you know how the spell actually works? And so she's like, yeah, you give it to somebody and they fall in love with you. And she's like, no, that's not how that works. It's sort of like, yeah, I'm going to reference my book. It's sort of like in how my world, Merlin cast a Cupid's cusp. And a Cupid's cusp is basically meant, if you have had any type of feeling for that person, whether it's lust, love, any emotion like that towards that other person, basically you mix it in a tea, you give it to them, you kiss them, and then whatever reserved feelings that they have tried to hide and to keep buried deep, it brings them to the surface, and then they basically are, they love you. And it's not false. It's true sentiment and true actual love. It was just brought to the forefront. And so that's basically how this spell is. And so he was already in love with her, which is probably why every time she tried to give him the antidote, it was disgusting to him and it would make him sick because she wasn't curing him. There was nothing wrong with him. He was already in love with her before before he ever ate that cake. He was already in love with her. So basically what she was doing was poisoning him because there was nothing to cure. And so basically, finally it gets to the point where I'm going to stop there because I can't tell you anymore because then I'll, ruin the book for you. So this was it was like a short read. I guess, well, not really short because it's 145 pages. So as far as like me reading, technically me reading, because I read very fast, it was a short read. But for the average person, no, it's a good book. It's a good read. So what I like to do is, this is what I call an easy read. And by now you guys should know what I mean when I say an easy read. There was no big bang in it. It was a cute love story, paranormal love story. And so basically, if I had to start this book, I would give it a 3.75. And it doesn't get a 4. And the only reason why it doesn't get a 4 stars is because I was still looking for that, like, pow. And so it was a really good book. I really liked it. And I really, really encourage you guys to go out and get this book. Once again, it's called Hexes and O's, and it's by authors KOKO Brown and Taige Crenshaw. Here's the cover. I do it on this side because it seems to work better on that side. Here's the cover once again. So you guys make sure you go out and get this. It's a really good read and so cute. It actually had me laughing. So now tomorrow's read. Tomorrow we will, because tomorrow's our last day, right? Let me make sure. Today's Tuesday, right? Is today Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh, it's actually Wednesday. Okay, so tomorrow, just one second. Tomorrow we will be reading Just one sec. I have it here already, but I want to make sure I'm saying this person's name right. Because we're going to finish out tomorrow with the oh, actually that okay. I believe, yeah. Oh, wow, that's funny. It says, um, it has her. This is, okay, this author is Kinsey Haven, and the book is called, because to remember tomorrow is our Caucasian Day, and the book is called Caught in the Barn. Cowboy. Okay, so now it's really funny because when I went onto the page to see, um, basically they'll show you like, oh, if you like this author, you like that author. And it was funny because I came up. It said, if you like this author, you'll like this one. And then there's a picture of me, Alexandria Infante. So that's very, very funny. Okay, so tomorrow we will be reading Caught in the Barn, by author Kinsey Haven. And here is, it is an erotic romance. And here is the book right here. So you guys can see that. So that's pretty much it to this review. Once again, remember, please make sure you go out and get these authors because some of these books are amazing. This was a very cute book, and I really want you guys to go out and get it. Once again, it's called Hexes and O's, and it's by author KOKO Brown and Taige Crenshaw. And it is a paranormal romance because they're witches, or she's a witch, and it's cute. You really need to go and get it. So make sure you pick that up. And that is it, my lovelies. I know it was a short review today. Remember, see, I can go short. I don't have to be long. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, bunches. Love. Peace. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.